What if I told you running fast is actually a lot easier than you think, and you can become jacked at the same time? Would you believe me? Well, you actually can. 3 months ago, I ran a 16:51 5K and a 35:38 10K. And this is me now. In this video, I'll teach you how you can do the same. We have been lied to for so long. Oh, you can't build muscle while running. That's true unless you do this one thing I'll share with you later in this video. And I had this limiting belief as well. I was a skinny runner for most of my life, and I believed it was impossible to build muscle while also being a good runner. That's why I quit running and started weightlifting 3 years ago. And I actually put on a decent amount of muscle, but I started to miss running. And I didn't know what to do because I didn't want to lose the muscle I had built. That's when I came across a video on YouTube. It was this huge guy with a lot of muscle, weighing well over 225 pounds. And he made this documentary style video about running a 100-mile race. A really well made video. Running 100 miles is incredible, but the thing that surprised me the most was his pace. I was not expecting him to have a good pace, but he was actually running really fast for a 100-mile race. So I watched more of his videos and I could not believe it. He had incredibly impressive PRs on marathons and other distances. Then I thought to myself, what the fuck is my excuse? I probably weigh at least 70 pounds less than him and he still runs faster than me. And this guy's name is Nick Bare. I think he has around like 1 million subs on YouTube. Definitely check him out. He helped me break my limiting beliefs, and I hope this video can be that for you as well. Now let's start with the most important thing about running fast and getting jacked. If I ask you to combine the two, how would you do it? Most people would probably split 50-50, run 2 to 3 times per week, and then the same for weightlifting. That would give you okay results, but that's not what we want. We want great results, and the way to do that is through periodization. We can't significantly improve both at the same time. Instead, we need different periods to mainly focus on one. That's when we will see huge progress. That's when you will set new PRs. That does not mean we neglect the other part, but think of it as different seasons. Just like we have winter, spring, summer, and fall. That just means for a period of 12 to 16 weeks, we mainly focus on one or the other. Let's say our first period is prioritizing running. That should consist of running 4 to 5 times per week and then weightlifting 1 to 2 times. Weightlifting is just to maintain what we already have. You're not going to put on a lot of muscle during this period. Choose one specific goal for the period. That can be running a sub 20-minute 5K or a sub 15-minute 3K, depending on your starting baseline. But have one specific goal to work towards. After one of these periods, take 1 week rest and then start the new season. Do the same for weightlifting. Also choose one specific goal, building more muscle or getting stronger. But how do we best train to optimize results? What split should you have and what's the best way to improve running? Well, there's actually a difference between maintaining and improving. That means there are different ways to train during different periods. Let's start with the running period. During this period, you should aim for 2 intervals and 2 lower intensity running sessions. If you're not already consistent with running, you should probably start with 1 of each, and then increase the workload after a few weeks. If you haven't ran intervals before, this is what I would recommend. Start by warming up for 15 minutes, running or walking depending on your level. You do this to avoid running as well as improving your sessions. But what intervals should you run? There are many different intervals to choose between, but here are some of my favorite. These are great intervals and you don't need anything more complicated than that. In between the intervals, you rest half the time you ran. That means if you run 2-minute intervals, you have 1 minute rest before starting the next one. But what intensity should you have? That's a complicated topic because there are many different ways to improve running ability. I would simply recommend running close to maximum effort while also progressively running faster later in the interval. That means your last few sets should have the highest intensity. That does not mean you take it easy on the first few sets. During this period, your weightlifting sessions should be a full body workout in order to train each muscle group each week. Now the weightlifting period, what's the best split? It doesn't really matter what split you choose. The most important thing is just to train each muscle group twice per week. You can essentially build muscle with all of them. It just depends on what you prefer. But these are the ones I would recommend. There are probably other splits that work as well. The biggest worry most of you have is probably that you'll lose muscle if you start running. Well, the answer is actually quite simple. Why do we believe running will destroy our gains? Well, because running burns a lot of calories. That means in order to not lose muscle, we have to eat more calories to stay in the calorie surplus. To say it simple, eat more calories than you burn. It's literally that simple. Now you have all the basic knowledge you need. So what you need to do now is to ask yourself, what is my biggest priority for the next period? Do I want to build more muscle or do I want to improve running? When you have the answer, you can design your next 12 to 16 weeks. Open up Google Calendar or your notes and write down every single session you'll have for the next period. Monday is, for example, intervals. Tuesday is full body workout. Wednesday is lower intensity running. Thursday is a rest day. You don't have to write down specifically what interval you're going to run in 12 weeks. You can plan that the week before, but just have a good overview look on your plan. I'll be making more videos on how you can improve running and weightlifting, so please consider subscribing if you want more knowledge on these topics, as well as other things.